Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to another reading vlog. Obviously, you've seen the title, so you know I'm going to be reading It Ends With Us for the first time ever. I cannot tell you how many of my friends have told me that I need to read this book, and I'm finally at the place where I'm in the mood to read it. So here we are, filming a reading vlog for it. This is probably her most popular book, I think, and they're coming out with a movie soon, so I definitely want to read this before I watch the movie. I did look up some trigger warnings for this because I know that there is some sort of like domestic violence themes in this book. Domestic violence, abuse, death of a family member, sexual assault, attempted rape, PTSD, depression, anxiety related themes. I know a lot of Colleen Hoover books, like, she bases the plot around her character's trauma. So that is probably what this book is going to be about. I know that there is some sort of like a love triangle, I think, because I've just seen this book all over the internet, and I feel like I kind of know a little bit kind of going into it, but I don't know because I've never read it. So we're gonna read this. I'm also on hold on my Libby app for It Starts With Us, which I believe is like a prequel to this one. I don't know if it's a prequel or if it's like after the fact. Depending how fast I read this one, I might include It Starts With Us in this reading vlog as well. If this is like any of the other Colleen Hoovers I've read, I have a feeling I'm gonna fly through this. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna include that book in this reading vlog, but obviously if you've seen the title, you know what's up. So without further ado, let's start reading this. About 101 pages in. I just hit chapter 8, and this book is a drug. I literally get it now, like why this book is so popular. Also, I got a notification from my Libby app, and I have the second book on my Kindle, which makes me super excited. Obviously, like, not too much has happened yet because I'm only 100 pages in. I have learned who all the characters are. I've learned about Lily. I've learned who Ryle is and who Atlas is, and we've kind of like gotten some flashbacks so far, but not too much like plot development yet. I do like Ryle so far, and I'm really curious to see like how Atlas is going to fit into this whole thing because we haven't learned too much about who he is yet and like what kind of happens with Lily and Atlas. I do really like the banter that goes on between Ryle and Lily, and I think they're gonna have really good chemistry. I will say, based on like what Ryle says to Lily when he first meets her, I thought there's gonna be more spice in here because, let's be honest, this is a Colleen Hoover book and her books can be pretty spicy, especially with the language, and it's been pretty PG-13 so far. I'm pretty surprised by that, but I know it's probably coming, so I'm gonna shut my mouth. I think it's really, really good so far, and I'm just curious to see like how all these storylines are gonna fit together, and I'm trying to figure out like what this cover means. I mean, obviously, I don't want to say too much because I'm trying to keep this spoiler free, but I'm just like kind of scared. Like, I feel like something bad is gonna happen to Lily, and I don't know who is going to like inflict that pain, if that makes sense. I never know what to say in these like little in-between reading updates because, again, I want to keep this spoiler free, but I feel like if I give you guys like a true update, like I'm gonna spoil some things. So I will say, like, I read a lot of this yesterday and I didn't want to put it down. I have a feeling like it's gonna wreck me. I learned all about Atlas's backstory last night and I just wanted to sob. Like, it was so sad. And now I've gotten to the point where all of the plot lines are coming into this present moment and all of the characters are in the present timeline. I am a little scared for Ryle just because of Lily's history with Atlas, and I believe she has one more diary entry left to read, and then I'll be able to like fully know what happened between her and Atlas because it's not very clear yet, but things are definitely heating up. I think Ryle, like, I really like his character, and I wasn't so sure about him in the beginning just because because he is very arrogant. He was like, oh, like, I don't want to want you. But this boy knocked on 29 doors in order to find her apartment. Like, he is the embodiment of if he wanted to, he would. I'm kind of scared for him because I don't think things are gonna end up well for him. I just read chapter 14, and to think I felt sorry for Ryle. You guys, I don't remember the last thing I filmed, but genuinely, like, I've been looking forward to finishing this book all day. I have probably less than 50 pages to go. Currently on chapter 31. So much has happened. And I don't want to say any of it because it would just all be a big spoiler. But it's so good. It ends with us. Is that the last line? On to the epilogue. Oh my god. Okay, I finished the book and I've had some time to sit and reflect on my thoughts. My spoiler-free review, well, first of all, I decided to rate it 5 stars because how do I not rate this book 5 stars, honestly? It is such a raw and emotional story, a very sensitive topic, so definitely check the trigger warnings before you read this book. I fell for the main characters as I was reading it, and when the big plot twist happened, I was like so caught off guard. It was like an emotional roller coaster. I really think everyone should read this book. It talks about such an important topic, and I feel like I have a new respect for Colleen Hoover after reading this book, especially if you read the author's note at the end. I will say on the steamy scale, I would say this is probably about a 7 out of 10. There's definitely more plot than there is sex in this book. It was really, really good and I really enjoyed it. I am going to have a spoiler section next where I kind of talk about other things that I read about in here. If you have not read this book, don't watch the next clip. I will put the time stamp on the screen so you guys can skip to the It Starts With Us portion of this video where I'm going to read that book as well. Skip right now if you do not want to hear the spoilers, but if you want to hear the spoilers, keep on listening. Okay, now that I have you guys here with me, oh my gosh. That first time Ryle hit her, that's when I was like, what the? I was not expecting that at all. You know, one of my friends told me she accidentally said like, oh my gosh, when the first time he hit her in a text message because we were just chatting about it. And as I was reading, I thought maybe she was talking about the scene with her dad because she hits her head and she has to go get stitches. I did not think she was talking about Ryle. I fell for him. You guys saw me fall for him. He was such a likable character. And the fact that he's a doctor, like you would not even think that someone who is a doctor would be capable of doing that to their girlfriend or their wife. I did not expect that, especially because like he was so nice to her in the beginning. It just goes to show like you truly do not know. It's hard to explain, and that's like my worst fear, like if I was to meet someone and then they promise you all these things and they just go ahead and change their mind after you get married. And also, let me just say, like, they got married so fast and I knew that was a bad idea. After the first time he hit her, I was like, no, he needs to go. But then she started just making up all these excuses for him, and like her reasoning was valid. You gotta know what you're worth, and you are not worth getting beat up over. Like her mother said to her, like if he really loved her, he would have left her in that instant because she did not deserve that behavior at all. And then when she found out she was pregnant, oh my gosh, it's like, I don't even know what I would do if I was in her situation, but homegirl really persevered through this, and I was so happy at the end when she was like straight dead face to him, I want a divorce. I was so happy for her. He was trying to convince her. He was like, no, give me another chance. And what she said to him like absolutely wrecked me. She goes, Ryle, what would you do if one of these days this little girl looked up at you and she said, Daddy, my boyfriend hit me? What would you say to her, Ryle? Okay, let's switch topics from that and talk about Atlas for a second, because I was Team Atlas from the very beginning. I was like, there's no way. And that's when I was thinking like, oh my gosh, I don't know who's gonna inflict the pain, because I thought she was gonna choose Atlas over Ryle and that he was gonna be like depressed over that. I did not see the whole like him hitting her plot twist happen and go down. I just thought this was gonna be like a love triangle thing. I don't know what I thought, but clearly it was wrong. I was so off kilter with that. But I loved Atlas's character, his backstory. I just wanted to sob the whole time. I had my headphones on and I had the Taylor Swift playlist going, and I'm sure that that added to the sadness I was feeling. But their story was so incredible. It just makes me so excited to read It Starts With Us next and hopefully get more Atlas content, because you just know like they are absolute soulmates from the start. And the fact that she kept like all the things that he gave to her, and he got her a book signed by Ellen DeGeneres that said, just keep swimming. And then he says that to her at the end. I need to find this. He goes, you can stop swimming now, Lily. We finally reached the shore. That's when I was like, oh my gosh. And then the last line in the actual story where she's looking at her daughter, she goes, it stops here with you and me. It ends with us. Are you kidding me? Those last lines just wrecked me. I was like, I'm done. So that concludes the It Ends With Us portion of this video, and let's get into It Starts With Us. I finally got the book on my Kindle from the library. It's already loaded up. I'm so excited to get started with this. I am about 48 pages in currently, and I am really enjoying this book. I love the therapy moment that Atlas has got going on, and it's really cool that it switches between Lily and Atlas's point of view. So you're getting to know like what each of them are thinking the entire time, which is really fun. I'm currently on page 115, just hit chapter 13, and I am in love with Atlas. He's just such a good book boyfriend. Like, he is a gem. But you guys know what I've realized is by reading this, I think like I really like second chance romance tropes. Normally I go for like enemies to lovers or grumpy sunshine reads, but this storyline is really reminding me of Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. It's very similar to this, where the two main characters meet as kids, they grow up together, and they fall in love, and then they don't see each other for 10 years, and then they like come back into each other's lives and have to like kind of get to know each other again. I think I need to read more second chance romance books. So if you guys have any good book recommendations, be sure to comment them below. Like I have been reading this book all day. I'm at 92%, so I'm definitely finishing it. But it is just so wholesome and good. I just hit chapter 35 and read the letter that Atlas wrote to Lily. He slipped it under her door. And this man, I need one, okay? Like, he is my new favorite book boyfriend, and this might be my new favorite coho. Like, not even lying. It's so good. I've reached the last chapter, you guys. Wait, that's the end? What? No! That's not fair! I feel robbed right now. What? Well, I finished the book, you guys. I spent like all day reading it. I'm pretty sure I read like 3/4 of it today, but it was so good. Clearly, I was shocked by the ending because it just ended so abruptly. I really wish that there had been an epilogue at least so I could know what happened after. I'm not sure what I would rate this. I feel like I'm leaning towards like a 4.5, but I think I need to sit on it for a bit and kind of like digest and collect my thoughts. But as for my spoiler-free review, I will have a spoiler section at the end of this for those of you who have already read it. But if you have not read it yet, I will say I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I loved getting to see and getting to know Atlas's character better. I loved having the different point of views from both like Lily and Atlas. There was a plot twist in here, definitely was not expecting, but I love the way that the story developed and the character development between Atlas and also Lily, and just seeing like Lily deal with the aftermath of how the first book ends. Do I think you need to read It Ends With Us before reading It Starts With Us? I don't know, because I feel like they like talk a lot about the history between them in It Starts With Us. I think if you want to understand Lily's background better, I think you should definitely read It Ends With Us first, because that explains like her and Ryle's relationship. It Starts With Us is definitely like a happily ever after kind of book. There wasn't a lot of like things that jumped out where I was like super surprised about. I think Atlas's character and his plotline definitely expanded more in this book. Like this book was more about Atlas's character, I think, and the first one was more about Lily's character and her journey. Definitely comment down below and let me know like what you guys would rate this book. Atlas Corrigan has my entire freaking heart. I don't find my own Atlas Corrigan, like I don't want anybody else. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have made it this far, I hope that you enjoyed seeing me read this series for the first time. I'm so glad that I finally got to read it. I will have the spoiler section at the end of this video, but for those of you who do not want to watch the spoilers, I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be moving into the spoiler section of this video now. Okay, moving into the spoiler section of this video. I feel like there's not like too many things to say, because obviously like the big spoiler is Atlas has a little brother and his mother comes back into his life, and I was really curious to see like where the storyline of this book was going to go. Something else had to happen, but it wasn't like a big dramatic plot twist, which I feel like normally happens in Colleen Hoover books. Like I was surprised at the fact that like he has a little brother, but I also like wasn't surprised. I don't really know. But this book definitely for sure was like more of an Atlas book, and I loved getting to see like the new roles that Atlas and Lily get to step into. You get to see Lily as a mom and getting to see her balance like dating and like post-divorce, and also like raising a child in the mix and still having her business and everything. Like I am just so proud of her and how much progress that she has made. And let me just say, like Ryle wasn't a huge character in this book. He was just, the way that she had to deal with him and the way that Atlas acted towards him was so respectful, because he was just being such an asshole about this like whole parenting situation and everything. But Atlas, like he is my new favorite book boyfriend. The things that he says to this girl in this book, like so swoon worthy. He is just obsessed with her. He literally buys a house thinking for her. He's like, I have my Lily emergency kit with an extra toothbrush and pillows and stuff just in case she needs me. Like that is the standard, you guys. I really wish that she had written an epilogue, because I just feel like there could have been like so much more, and I just wanted to like see them like 10 years in the future, like what happened. It was just so good, and I loved like the dynamic between Atlas and Theo and him being like a 12-year-old therapist. I loved getting to see him with Josh and like step into this kind of parenting role. It was good for a sequel. Let me know your thoughts if you like feel the same way, if you've already read It Ends With Us, you've already read It Starts With Us, because I feel like I've heard conflicting opinions on this book. Like some people think it's not that good, but some people like love it. And I think for me, like this is probably going to be like one of my new favorite Colleen Hoover books. Despite the repetitiveness of it, I could see why Colleen included those, because now that we're getting like Atlas's perspective in this book, it was really cool to like see like his thoughts on that and like rehashing the past and stuff like that. That wasn't a part of it. I don't really know like where the story would have gone in here. Despite that, I still really enjoyed it, and like I said, I think I'm gonna rate it 4.5 stars. But definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to know. Or you can DM me on Instagram, because I know this is like a spoiler-free video and you don't want to spoil anything. I think that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, coming on this journey with me. I'm so glad that I finally got to these books, and I 100% think that they live up to the hype. Definitely like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you guys are new here. I hope that you are having a great day wherever you are, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye guys.